When it comes to effective planning, you need just one good system. This will simplify your life significantly. Are you using one streamlined, effective system? Do you know how to plan your life, or are things a bit chaotic and complicated over there where you are? Well, hey, I'm Alicia from Alicia Cohen Designs. Come join me now for another workshop style video as we tackle these points today and take a look at how to actually plan your life. So grab a notebook and your favorite pen, or just perch your phone somewhere while you do the dishes. It's time to level up your intentional planning, productivity, and mindset skills. Let's get into the slides. Okay, here's the plan for today's video. First, we are going to take a quick peek into my past with a little story that I have for you. Then we are going to talk about why you need just one system and how this will help you do effective planning. And then third, we will talk about what you need as part of this one system. So, a little story. Can you relate? Once upon a time, I was a living ping pong ball. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I still am a stay-at-home mom of two little ones, but at the time they were a toddler and an infant. And there were many things. Did I mention many? That I wanted and needed to get done on any given day. And yet, instead of doing those things that I really wanted and needed to be doing, I would ping pong around the house like a little ping pong ball, bouncing from room to room, task to task, and completely forgetting about the mile-long list of things that I quote-unquote should be doing, that list of things that I wanted and needed to be doing. No. Instead, I would bounce around all day long, and many days what got done and what got my attention was really just a game of chance. I would walk into a room to do one task and immediately get derailed by 3 other tasks that needed to get done that I had forgotten about, but now I was reminded of by walking into that room. So it was as if my entire house was one giant to-do list, and everything seemed urgent. And of course, there was always some fire to put out, which would inevitably derail my day further. Now, it almost feels miraculous to say this, but I am no longer a living ping pong ball, and I don't live my life getting totally derailed by putting out fires anymore. And part of that transformation is thanks to the one system that I'm going to tell you about in the rest of this video. So let's get to that now. So, one system. Let's talk about that, because one system is way more effective, so we're going to simplify your life here by simplifying your system. So why one system? Well, when it comes to planning and productivity, if you're using a bunch of systems, it's just going to get a little bananas. If you're not being intentional about the systems that you're using and cohesively putting them together in a way that works, it's going to make it that much harder to be able to be effective and to be able to get done what you want to get done. So why one system? Because it simplifies and streamlines. Life already has a way of sometimes getting complicated or way more complicated than we would like. So we don't need our planning and productivity system adding to that. We're going to keep it simple to keep it effective. So how will this help? Well, let's just think about it very practically for a second here. What sounds better to you? Having a system that's kind of bananas and chaotic where you feel like you're bonkers, or having a system that's smooth and simplified and effective? Not that anyone tries to have a bonkers system. I mean, that's not a thing, right? No one's like, hey, let me set up a bonkers system for myself. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, no one does that, right? But somehow we can find ourselves in that situation, in that predicament, without really knowing how we landed there, or without meaning to be there. So let's just be intentional. Let's say, hey, this banana system that I've been using is not working, hasn't been working, and it's not going to magically start working tomorrow, so let's do it a different way. You know that quote said by Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? So let's not keep using the same planning and productivity system for you. It's time for you to use a different system and an intentional system, a simplified system. Don't expect that if you just tried harder with your current system that it's going to, poof, magically get better. It's not. Otherwise, it already would have. So, having a simplified system is going to help you because it's just going to work better. When we follow a system, we know what to do. When we follow a system, there are steps, and in the steps can come simplicity and ease and autopilot. We want a system that works for you on autopilot. Now, you're going to need to work. You're going to need to work to build it. You're going to need to work to have it become on autopilot for yourself. But once you get there, then you're not fighting just trying to be productive. You're not fighting trying to figure out the system while also trying to figure out how to be productive. You're just doing the productivity part because the system is just there running in the background. Kind of like a computer. You know how a computer has an operating system, the whole kit and caboodle that makes it run? Well, you don't think about the operating system, or at least I don't. You just turn on the computer and you expect the operating system to work, and hopefully most of the time it does, unless your computer's like doing the blue screen of death thing or something. But blue screen of death aside, you turn on your computer, the operating system is working, and you do your thing. You don't turn on your computer and then think, oh man, this operating system is bananas, and how am I going to get this operating system to work? No, that's not how it goes. So in the same way, you want your planning and productivity system to kind of be running in the background. It just works. And then just like you turn on your computer and you get stuff done, you use your planning and productivity system and you get stuff done. So let's talk about what this system is to help you get stuff done. It has 4 components, 4 building blocks that make up the system that I recommend. And the 4 building blocks are season-based living, a cleared-out calendar, a to-do list management system, and planning for your time plus your energy. So let's break these down one at a time. So first, season-based living. What am I talking about here? So we have the seasons of the year, winter, spring, summer, and fall, but this is not what I mean. Certainly the calendar seasons do play into what I mean here with season-based living, but what I'm talking about is your personal, unique life season. So this is made up of things like, is it busy season or light season at work? Are you in a pregnancy season or not pregnancy season? Do you have a newborn or a toddler? Or maybe you're in school age season or teenage season? Are you in post-surgery recovery season or a chronic health issue season? Or maybe you're caring for a loved one with significant needs season. Or maybe you're in a getting ready to move season. So whatever the case may be, there are multiple factors that go into comprising our current personal life season. And this matters because when it comes to having one effective system for planning and productivity, we want to make sure that first and foremost, we are taking a look at what our current season is, because unless we start there, we will just be spinning our wheels. If we're trying to be productive, trying to do planning and whatnot, but first we haven't gotten clear on our season, like really clear on our season and what is possible and not possible, what we can say yes to and what we need to say no to during this season, then the rest is just not going to work. In my book, operating from season-based living is kind of like the foundation for a house. If you don't have a good foundation, the house is not going to survive. So same thing here. If season-based living is not the foundation for the planning and productivity system that we are building here, it's just not going to survive. So that's the first thing. Get super clear on your season. Next, a cleared out calendar. Make sure you're using your calendar as a calendar. In this system that I'm recommending, part of what I recommend is don't use your calendar as the planning system. Use the calendar just what it's meant for, being a calendar. So clear it out of the random stuff that's in there, tasks, reminders, to-dos. Put that somewhere else. Keep your calendar just as a calendar. Keep it for things like appointments, social events, play dates, date night activities, both your own and your kids, that kind of thing. And just keep it simple. Again, keep your calendar as a calendar. And also, when I say a cleared out calendar, take a look at what's in your calendar. What's in there that doesn't need to be in there anymore, either literally because it's just in need of some decluttering, or more on a deeper level because there are things in there that are not so great for you in one way or another, either because it's something you're participating in that's causing you a lot of stress, or it's something that you have kept on your calendar, but it's really time for it to go. So take a look at that. Clear your calendar of the clutter, but also clear it out of the things in there that are maybe draining you emotionally and or physically. And then a to-do list management system. So for this piece, you're going to need somewhere where all your tasks and to-dos are going. So what I recommend as just a very simple way to take this on is having a pick 10 list and an everything else list. And however you want to manage these lists, you could do it on paper, you could do it digitally, but what I want you to do is each week you're going to have a pick 10 list, pick 10 things that you're going to take on for that week. And then everything else goes on the everything else list. Everything else that needs to be done, you keep it in that big long list. And then when the pick 10 list gets empty, then pull new things from the everything else list. But don't run around all week trying to do the everything else list. That just isn't going to work. So do your pick 10 list as your way of managing your to-dos. You're tackling the pick 10 list, and then whatever else that comes up, it's just got to wait, and it goes on the everything else list. Because wouldn't you rather at the end of the week that you got 10 things done, or maybe you got 8 of them done or whatever, but you actually got things done from the list that you intentionally picked 10 things, as opposed to frantically clutching the everything else list all week long and running around bonkers trying to do that list when it's really just impossible. So set yourself up for success. Have the everything else list, because it's not going anywhere. So keep it, because, those things will be there waiting for you. But then do your sanity a favor and just do a pick 10 list, because when you do a pick 10 list, you're clear on what you need to do. You're clear on what you're tackling. And when you do those things, then you say, oh, look, I picked 10 things. I did 10 things, or most of the 10 things. And then you can feel successful in that, as opposed to chasing the everything else list, which just leaves us feeling defeated. So that's the third piece. And then the final piece of the one system that you need to simplify your life is you need to plan for your time plus your energy. So whatever you are taking on in a week, don't just plan for what time is available. Also plan for what energy is available, your energy. If right now is an exhausting season for you, then take that into account when you are planning. If right now you are feeling on top of the world and you can tackle a bajillion things at one time, well, then take that into account. But don't just plan for time. That will get you to a place that is unrealistic because it doesn't take the whole picture into account. So however you like to do your planning, make sure that you are doing the time plus energy that I'm recommending here. And that's the entire system. Now, if you're like, Alicia, this sounds cool and I want more, I want some accountability, I want some coaching, I have some questions, then check out in the description below. I have a link for my Power Up Your Productivity group coaching program. And in that program, we go in depth into identifying your season, and we look at clearing out your calendar. And I give you a very specific and detailed way to manage your to-do list. In this video, I've given you a very basic way to do it, which will work. But if you want the whole sundae with the cherry on top, you'll find it in my Power Up Your Productivity method. And then we also go into all of this about planning, time, plus energy, and more, all the bits and pieces. So check it out. Again, the link is in the description below, and I'd love, love, love to have you in the program. And I just want to say thanks for spending this time with me. I'm rooting for you out there. Be on the lookout for another workshop-style video coming your way soon. And until then, be intentional and don't give up. I'll catch you in the next thing. Take good care.